Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another book review. I think most of you are familiar with Flowers in the Attic and why it was so controversial for its day. It still is controversial for its day. And this is actually the third in the series. There are 5 books. And the next book is called Seeds of Yesterday, and then the last book is called Garden of Shadows, and I forget what the second one is. Oh, Petals in the Wind. Yeah, it's Petals on the Wind. I couldn't remember the name of it, but in this one, we learn more about the the lies and deceit that have been occurring within this family. And it all occurs within the South, and they have this sort of haughty view on everything. Then you realize what really is happening, and you feel sorry for Jory and Bart and Cindy, even though Cindy is just a little girl. Cindy's just a baby. She was adopted into the family. And Bart, his world has just been twisted, and he's been brainwashed to believe that all women are sinful due to the old man that he likes to emulate. And he has Malcolm's diary, so yeah, it's pretty mucky and very messy and extremely disturbing and quite messed up. And you wonder what's going through his head. He wants a pony, but he gets a dog, and he names him Apple. And he had a cat as well. And of course he is convicted on killing both of them, which he never did. It was actually the old man who did. It kind of makes you wonder if Bart did that or not, because he has so much anger and he hates absolutely everything and everybody. He's basically a misanthropic individual. And for good reason, too. He really doesn't know what to believe, and he's just following his whim as to become exactly like Malcolm is. And I'm surprised they don't put him into an insane asylum just because of how demented he really is. But yet you feel sorry for him. You feel a sense of pity for Bart and the world in which he's coming into, and he doesn't understand what's going on. And then everything's basically turned upside down for him, and he realizes what he thought was happening is actually happening. His intuition was absolutely correct. And this again is another story of incest, and of course, does that really still happen? I bet it does. It's just it's one thing that you don't really hear a lot about. But I love the movie. I've read the book, I've seen the movie. The movie was very accurate. I thought that all the characters that were played, they did a outstanding job, and it was just unbelievably perturbing and definite food for thought. And this continues in that tradition, and I've got the 4th book. I don't have the 5th book yet, but I'm thinking of actually purchasing it. And it's probably in paperback form now, since these actually have some age on them. I'm going to actually, let me look and see. The original copyright is 1984, actually. That's not really too old. And then the paperback version is current. So the books have been around. They have teeth, basically. They've been around for a while. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends. there's a lot of subterfuge that goes on, a lot of underhandedness and a lot of blackmail and leverage that occurs within the duration of the book. And you just think, this family is so terribly consumed with lies and deceit and abuse. And you wonder, with a family like this, why would you want to go back home? You would probably want to run away. I mean, the original book, you feel for the children, you really do, and you think, why would somebody do that? And it could happen. It could definitely happen. I mean, there was I forget, it's recent too. There was either a young girl or a young boy who was kept underneath the stairs, just like in Harry Potter. Literally, she was kept underneath the stairs of her parents' house, and nobody knew that she was there. There was just a closet there. They kept her in there. And I thought, they should have been filed for neglect. Somebody should have noticed something. You hear stories about so-called parents, for lack of a better word, starving their children and making them eat their own fecal matter. I mean, it's just awful. And I thought, no, these people should not be parents. These people shouldn't be parents. They should have never considered even adopting, especially adopting young Cindy. And then in one part of it, Bart thinks that Cindy's seducing him when she takes off her bathing suit. And then he tries to drown her in the kiddie pool. And I thought, yeah, you need to be institutionalized, son. That boy ain't right. I'm sorry, I just had to quote that. I can't help myself sometimes. Sometimes I go back to my King of the Hill roots, but I missed that show. But that's kind of an inside joke in my family too. That boy ain't right. But it was I'm sorry. There's just something I thought was appropriate to say about Bart. But other than that, I really enjoyed the book, believe it or not. It was extremely intriguing, very disturbing, very unsettling, and bewitching enough to keep you entertained and turn the pages and keep yourself engaged with the storyline. It's from different characters' point of views. You have Jory telling his side of the story, and Bart telling his side of the story, and his sort of dialect, because he speaks in a certain way and Jory speaks in a certain way. The other characters speak in their ways, and they have their perspectives on what is happening, and just the utter dissolution of their family, the mayhem, the anarchy, for lack of a better word. Now I'm looking forward to reading The Seeds of Yesterday. And I wonder if they're going to mention Flowers in the Attic like they did in this one. Because they just give it a passing glance, but I thought, oh yeah, I know who you're speaking of. And it just evoked that memory. That's basically all I have to say. I didn't tell you this, but last week, Wednesday, my father came home. And they never determined if he had flu or not. They did determine that he had bronchitis, and he was taking on water, and that he he had pneumonia. But he no longer has any of these things. He went to the cardiologist on Thursday, and his ejection fraction was 50, which is normal and perfect. So I was very pleased with that. I actually asked my cardiologist about that because I remembered that from my EKG course. So at least that knowledge helps for some purpose. If I didn't even pass my CCI twice. Ugh. Ah well. Say lovey. That's all I have to say for now. Those are all the updates that I'm doing currently. I'm writing a new story, and I'm hoping that I could get it published at some point in time. I've got a hard copy of In the Flesh, and I'm going to be reviewing the episodes. It's actually season 2. I know I had the episode saved on YouTube, but I'm going to watch it. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch it. I've been watching Gallivant, which I absolutely adore. It is genius. The songs are outstanding. They're tremendous. They are miraculous in and of themselves, marvelous. And I've been singing "You May Not Be the Worst Thing Ever" recently. That and "Off on a Hero's Journey" a little bit. I wish I could find sheet music. I would love that. Sheet music or a soundtrack. I would get it either or. Let's see. Premiere of Glee was tremendous. I absolutely savored every moment of it. Just seeing all the original characters back together, that was really incredible. Of course, the last season of Mentalist has been sensationally good. It's suspenseful. It's very tightly written, very wittily done, and there's one part of the episode Greenlight that made me cry. My dad said, "Well, how did Jaden's coffee cup break? I mean, his teacup." And I told him when the FBI came in and they took over the CBI, one of the FBI guys knocked the cup out of his hand and it broke. And he said, "Oh," because he remembered that scene. And when that happened, I actually cried in that particular scene, even though probably a normal person wouldn't, but it's actually very symbolic, and it represented him just inside falling to pieces and losing that job that he had loved for so many years, the one that he had basically made for himself, that he had created. And all of it has come back together, and the reassembling of that cub, it just represents the fact that he was able, well, with the help of Lisbon, he was able to pick up all the pieces and make something beautiful out of his life. And it was just, to me, that was very touching. Let's see. Been watching I just got onto Archer, and I really love it. It's very tongue-in-cheek and very funny. It's exactly like C-Lab 2020, which I enjoyed when I was younger. I used to watch that religiously. Haven't started watching Agent Carter, but I will. First Resurrection's on. I haven't watched that yet. And Sleepy Hollow is outstanding. It's really crazy good and magnificent. And of course Gotham is just extraordinary. I love Gotham. And let's see, I don't know what else to say. Those are basically all the shows I've been watching at this point in time. I'm planning on reviewing. I'm kind of not looking forward to this one, but I decided to rent Blended just to give it a chance. I saw the previews for. I love Adam Sandler. Don't get me wrong, but he just hasn't really. He hasn't done anything really noteworthy. There's one that he's doing that I'm looking forward to in the near future. It's called The Cobbler, and it looks like it has some potential. And at least I think he's going back to his original shtick, which I really like. And I hope to God it's good. I hope it's not like some of the movies he's been in recently that really haven't amounted to much at all. But I'm kind of dreading this one. I saw the first few minutes of it, and I thought, okay, I could dig it. This is all right, but we'll see how that goes from there. I don't know if I. We'll just see. Okay, we will just see. That's all I have to say. Until next time, live long, prosper. Ciao tutti.